Welcome to another episode of Uncomfortable Conversations with Emmanuel Acho. Today's episode takes place at the Nova exhibit in Los Angeles and commemorates 1 year since the deadliest anti-Semitic attack since the Holocaust. I'll be joined by music executive Scooter Braun, Iranian Jew and activist Mandana Dayani, journalist and mother of four Shirin Yadegar, along with hostage survivor Moran Yania. This episode will be extremely emotional and potentially triggering. Viewer discretion is advised.
Israel is at war.
We have active fronts of fighting in 3 different geographical areas.
Took even more hostage than we knew. And so the
airstrikes demolished over.
This is already the single largest loss of life in a single day in Israeli history.
So it has been 1 year since the deadliest massacre since the Holocaust. Moran, you were held in captivity 54 days, if I'm not mistaken.
That's true.
How are you doing right now?
Well, for you, it's been a year. And for me, yesterday, I was on October 7th. I didn't have the time to process it 100%. Because we're on a automatic pilot since the first day we were released. I feel that I have an obligation not only to bring my brothers and sisters back home, is also for this big war that goes on in social media, and see that for me, I cannot, you said at the beginning, this is the Holocaust. This is the biggest event since the Holocaust, and I cannot comprehend the situation that you even compare it to the Holocaust. I cannot even understand that this thing happening in this modern world in 2024, and people still stand aside, like she said, and choose to deny it, or choosing to show violent. And for me today, as I do every single day since I was released, is trying to justify the fact that I'm alive. Some of my friends will not ever come back home, and there is no difference between me and them, you know? So today, and like any other day that passed, and each day that will come, I need to justify the fact that I'm alive.
I just want to acknowledge who this person is.
Yeah, please.
On October 7th, the largest music massacre in history happened at the Nova Music Festival. Over 400 kids were killed, and over 40 were taken hostage. And that was just part of what happened on October 7th. That's what, right outside those doors, this exhibit represents. This woman was there. She was there working as a vendor. She was taken by Hamas. She was held for 54 days by Hamas. And she's sitting here now with that kind of strength, with that kind of perspective, with that kind of courage and hope for the world and all humanity. And I get emotional because it's like, who are we, not to acknowledge her? And who are we to even be triggered? Like, that's my thing. When I start to get triggered, I find God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, keeps giving me signs that, like, stay on the right course. Today it's her. Today she's the angel that sits in front of me and lets me know, like, no, stay on the right course. Fight for humanity, one person at a time.
Can you take me for a moment to what that was like?
Can even remember how it felt like physically or mentally in that moment, because it was surreal. But I can talk about condition, and I will sum you up there very fast. I was moved 7 houses and had 5 different costumes. I had 3 fractures in my leg, and I lost 12% of my body weight, which is 8 kilos from skinny person in 54 days. I had scars, bruises, vices, you name it, really. I had the good, the ugly, and the beautiful. That's what I say. I had guards that hated me. You know what I said to myself on the morning of the 49 days, and I remember that day. I woke up and I said to myself, you're you, and they're not your friends. They will never be your friends. You're on your side and they're on their side. I tried for 49 days to communicate with them, to try to understand them, trying to understand the agenda and to see the person without those limited thoughts, trying to strip all the things that he did, trying to see him. They never saw me or tried to understand it. Maybe one, but it's one out of 50 Hamas terrorists that looks at you like nothing.
Mandana, let me ask you, because Moran mentioned trying to get someone from the other side. We live in a very divisive society right now. How can we communicate that there shouldn't be two sides?
We can fully feel and have compassion for one person without in any way taking away from your ability to have empathy and compassion for another, right? Being able to see one person's experience should not prevent you from being able to see another person's experience. I think so much of the way that polarization continues to happen on social media and in the world is that we are forced into these extremes, and we are forced to believe that we have these binary choices, and life sits in the middle. And I believe the majority of the world sits in the middle. And I think that sometimes they don't know what that looks like, and they don't know how to be an ally. They don't know how to show up. They don't have the proper language. I think the majority of us are fully aligned on the same set of values and can see that many things are true at the same time.
Yeah. Shirin, the opposite of courage is fear. And you have four children. How much fear do you live in every day?
I live in a lot of fear because I have a daughter on a very hateful campus. So Columbia's been a hotbed for anti-Semitism. We've seen it. And so it's been really scary to watch because she has been personally targeted. She's had threats. We've had to have people, watch over her and follow her. My daughter at USC had her mezuzah torn off of her dorm room.
What is a mezuzah, for clarity?
So a mezuzah is something you'll see on many Jewish families' doorposts. It's what we kiss when we go in and out. It's a blessing to keep your home safe. It's a symbol that you are a Jew living in this house. So anybody who walks by your house, and when October 7th happened, talk around town was, let's take our mezuzahs off. We're going to be targeted. And I said, no, absolutely not. You don't take your mezuzahs off. You wear your mezuzah on your door and you wear your Magen David. And I don't have the fear of that. The fear is when things like this happen. And so I said to my daughter, it's going to be okay. So fear, yes, because it's real, because of actionable reasons, right? There were reasons. It wasn't just ideas in my mind that made me have the fear. But then we take steps to make sure that we're doing something about it. So I think that when you have that fear, you have to take steps so you can move towards love.
The reason why you're seeing so much hatred and division is because we're so close to the opposite. It's what I always say in business. I always say success is right next door to failure. When you think you're failing, I promise you it's right next door. Just keep going. You don't know how close it is.
How can we get to the opposite? Because you said we're so close to the opposite. What can someone like me, not Jewish, who doesn't know the Jewish experience, someone watching who's not Jewish, how can they help you all, us, collectively get to the opposite?
You're doing it because you're not looking at this as a Jewish issue. You're looking at this as an issue of humanity.
100%.
Please, everybody remember, and we'll keep reminded every single year, on October 7th, there was no politics. Nobody cared which side on the bed you got up in the morning or what's your beliefs or how you look like. They slaughtered everybody that came across them. So it's 23 different nationalities, no politics in that day. Only one is to be able, me and you, different cultures, different God, different beliefs, but we can be friends, right?
Yeah. So it's about having empathy that's unlimited. I always say every time I had a child, I have 3 children, I wondered after the first one, will I love the other ones as well? And then your heart exponentially grows when you have a child. Your empathy should exponentially grow regardless of who is standing in front of you.
Yeah.
And that is the fight we're having right now. Empathy is not limited to just those affected on October 7th.
Right.
There are kids in Gaza stuck in a war. They're kids. We should have empathy for those innocent children. Any child in life who's stuck in a war, we should have empathy for. Because it's about all of us. Yeah. And if we stop putting labels on it, maybe we'll start getting the results.
Can you take me there for a moment? Obviously, Scooter, Mandana, even Shirin may be more familiar with your story than I am. If you were to take me for a moment, because you said in captivity, and I hear you, but I can't feel it.
Yeah.
Can you take me for a moment to what that was like? How did you remain hopeful?
Came back to my guided imagination, and I know how it feels to hug my mother. And I know how it smells. I know how she looks like and how she would react in that situation. And she's Moroccan, so it's extreme, You see this smile maybe 7 times in life, but I will see it that day, And that what held me on, like every single day, no matter what they did, I knew that I'm going to see that smile in the small dance, in the hallways. And now I have a living proof that it happened,
Amen. So it's been 1 year, and let me ask you all kind of in conclusion, Mandana, I'll start with you. What do you hope to see? What progress do you hope to see in the next year?
I mean, I just want the hostages home. I want the war to end. I want to see any like dignity and restored to Palestinians. I want humanity back. I want people to just be able to be compassionate and kind. I want to feel like every time I open my phone, it is not this like toxic mess of rage.
Do you wake up in anger now?
Never. And I think that is that like advocate mindset of just like, I believe that better is right around the corner and that I'm never going to stop until we get there.
Moran, do you feel like better is right around the corner?
I have to. If I want my life to be better, someone smart taught me that you have to act like it's already happened. So by choosing it every single day, I just want to remind people that it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that we have like wings on our backs and we're flying all day. It means that we have the tools to deal with everything to come. I want to be able to do what I did on October 6th. On October 6th, I came back from a trip that I bought a plane ticket and I take a flight by myself to explore the world. I want to be able to do it by 41 and 42 and 43. I'm still learning how to walk, literally, physically, mentally. I still learn how to walk. But in my heart and my beliefs, I'm running, you know?
Shirin, why are you hopeful about the future?
I'm hopeful because of the student movement. I'm hopeful because I think people have been awakened. I think people want unity and they want love and they want discourse and they want to come together. And we all have so much more in common than we are different, right? Yeah. And I think that through these cracks that we've seen in society, the light is now pouring in. And I think people are rising up. And I really believe that this generation is going to really step up and repair the world. I truly believe that.
And Scooter, I'll end with you. Why are you hopeful, my friend, about the future?
That's why.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful because of you too.
When you meet someone who's been through what she's been through, and she still chooses to live her life this way, hopeful.
That's a beautiful ending. Well, Scooter, thank you. Mandana, thank you. Moran, thank you.
Thank you.
Shirin, thank you. And thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Uncomfortable Conversations with Emmanuel Acho. Remember, lives are being changed, hearts, they're being touched, and it's all because of you. We'll see you soon.